Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you guys are having a great Tuesday. And the markets were up again today for Bitcoin and the miners in general, for the most part. There were some that were up more than others, and the rest of the kind of mixed results as far as they weren't pumping as hard as they were pumping on Monday or last week. So we'll take a look at that. We also have a bunch of stories here on the miners as far as production updates. So I'm going to go through the list here. There's a lot of them. Sphere 3D, Bit Digital, Core, Digihost, DMG, and Marathon. So chapters are going to be down the bottom for you guys to skip to the ones that you want to see. And then towards the end of the video, we'll also take a look at institutions buying over the last 6 months. Where has the institutions' basic cash flow been going into? Which miners? We'll take a look at those numbers and metrics a little bit there as well. But as always, you guys know the drill here. Not financial advice for entertainment only. Please do your own research. And I'm investing in following coins and companies for full disclosure. Also, if you enjoy this type of content, hit the like button, subscribe, helps me out tremendously. And thank you so much for coming in to watch this. I do appreciate it greatly. So let's take a look at what's going on here with Bitcoin really quick and the miners. I'll put something interesting out to you guys as well. So Bitcoin was up today quite nicely. It was up approximately almost 5%. It was up 4.99% on the day. It hit a high of 45,000 on the money. I mean, right on the 0.0045,000 right there. Came back down a little bit. So obviously we passed 42,000, 44,000. We're a little bit under that right now. We're at 43,166. We'll see if we get a little bit of a pullback happening here or if we continue going forward. The reason we might be pumping right now is because people are front running, obviously, the spot Bitcoin ETF approval, which they're guessing is going to be sometime in January. So a lot of people are probably trying to get in before the actual institutions start buying up Bitcoin like crazy. So that's possibly why we're having this huge run here recently, and we're going parabolic in Bitcoin right now as it is. A little pullback, I think, would be healthy, but we'll see where we end up at right now. On the daily chart, the RSI is a little bit on the oversold territory. It's above 75 right now. It is at, where are we at right now? We are at 80. So we are definitely a little bit overbought. Sorry, not oversold, overbought. And then if you look at the miners here, Annie had a really good day. It was up 62%. There's really no reason why for it that I could see here. If you guys have any or any suggestions as to why it's up so much, hit me down in the comments below. But then the rest of the miners were kind of on the balance side of things as far as price improvements today. Right, Bitcoin's up almost 5%. A lot of these miners were about that. Some were a little bit less than that. Some were a little bit higher than that. You can see the list here. Bitfarms notably was up 11% up again today. It had a pretty good day today. CleanSpark was only up 4.96 today. And one thing to note on CleanSpark is that this is the only miner that I track that is actually above its 52-week highs, previous 52-week highs. So the previous 52-week highs on this one was right here at $7.52. So this is the only miner, if you look at the charts, this is the only miner that has so far bounced above the 52-week highs, previous 52-week highs in the last couple of days here. So that's interesting to note. You can see here what else is going on here. Some miners were down, like I said, today. Mawson was down 8. Hut was up 8 today. Riot was up barely, right? So that's kind of strange. Bitcoin's up 5%. Riot's only up 1% roughly. And then you got Wolf up less than that as well, along with Stronghold. And what else? Iris was a little bit up, but not much. Hut, obviously, up, like I said, 8. So interesting, nonetheless. With Bitcoin pumping, these guys are possibly getting, what's what I'm looking for? Some investors are possibly up quite nicely here in a lot of these stocks here over the last couple of weeks. So they might be taking some profits. So that's maybe what we're seeing today is profit taken in those guys right now. Okay, so that's it for those. Let's take a look at the ASIC miners, not the ASIC miners, the Bitcoin miners as far as what the production was for November. So we'll start off with Sphere 3D. So Sphere 3D Corporation provides November 2023 production and operational update. And this is going to be pretty quick. So they mined 71.7 Bitcoin, and they ended with the 1.3 exahash at the end of the month. Uptime was 86%. So we'll take a look at those numbers there. There isn't anything really interesting in here. You can see here, let me see. In November, CEO comments, you can read those. Core Scientific, they're still battling with them. They did also provide here that Gryphon update that as of, let me see here. Where was it that I saw it? I thought it was supposed to end. Oh, they're supposed to get about 695,000 from Gryphon for their termination of the agreement, I guess, that they have. Terminated effective immediately, the master service agreement between Cypher and Gryphon, dated August 10th of 2021. So that has been terminated. So they should get that, which will probably help them out a little bit here. And then during the halving event, or up to the halving event, Sphere 3D has anticipated the halving and is preparing accordingly. We are focusing on various alternatives and are considering all options for growth, including but not limited to adding exahash organically, mergers and acquisitions, as well as other options. Sphere 3D is currently focused on strategic opportunities and on maintaining operational efficiency. More to come in the near future. We'll take a look at the numbers that I do have for them, and based on where they are right now, I mean, they have 14 million shares outstanding. Market cap is at 24, almost 25 million right now as of today. That doesn't bode well for mergers and acquisitions, right? More likely they're going to try and grow organically, because you're not going to be able to pick up any substantial hash rate by buying somebody out, I don't think. So the only possible, at least to me, way to grow would be organically by buying miners, finding hosting providers for those, or actually buying your own facilities and doing it that way. But nonetheless, let's take a look at the numbers that we do have here for them. They currently have 1.3 exahash. Future hash rate is supposed to be at 1.8. They have a little bit of growth left in them as they have it right now. Their HODL is at 18.10. Right now, like I said, they mine 71.7 Bitcoin, which is good because their Bitcoin mines per month has been increasing, which is good to see. You can see the month-over-month difference here. BTC HODL is only at 18. It's been pretty low here. This year, they've been selling quite a bit of it. BTC per exahash efficiency at 55, so not too bad. We have some miners that are above 60 right now, so those are a little bit more efficient. BTC sold, they sold 65 Bitcoins in the month of November. Then hash rate, you can see here has been pretty flat since August. August, they had a nice bump to 1.3 exahash, and they've stayed there for the last couple of months. BTC mine revenue, however, has been increasing since August, so that is a good sign. Obviously, Bitcoin price has been going up as well, so that definitely helps. Okay, hash rate difference month over month, how much they increased their hash rate. BTC sold value here, they sold not as much as they mined, so that's good there. The previous month, they sold more than they actually mined. On that one, going down here, we'll get institutions. Institutions looks like stayed, increased a little bit here. Or institutions, the number of institutions stayed the same, but the number of shares increased a little bit here. But the percentage owned went down to 0.87, so there might be some dilution happening there. And we still don't have any analyst price targets for them. Right, so it's all zeros across the board here. And then for the month of November, I had them running at approximately 28.17 days here. So that is probably contributable also to the network transaction fees that are being added to this. Otherwise, it probably would have been down lower than that, probably maybe closer to 25 days or something like that, it looks like. So this is the way it kind of looks up right now. Okay, so that got us to the 2.62 million in revenue for them based on the average Bitcoin price in November, along with the network hash rate that we calculated here. And looking at the numbers here right now, looking backwards, the last 3 quarters plus the current quarter that we're in, I got them at $3.35 to $5.02. If all things were equal, they're only $1.74 right now. So I do think they're undervalued, but they are undervalued for a reason. Not a lot of current assets, 5.23 million as of Q3. Total current liabilities is higher than that at 6.69 million. So that's not a good ratio there. And yeah, I don't know how they're going to grow other than possibly dilute and, well, try to build out themselves, right? At this time and being. What else do we have here? Looking forward, if you look forward to the next 12 months based on the numbers that we have for November, 4 months before the halving event, roughly at 100%, and then the 8 months after the halving event at 50%, I got them at $3.65 to $5.48, so a little bit higher than where they are previously, because if you look previously here on them, on the data, we can see that previously, the prior quarters, they were generating less revenue. They're generating more revenue here now, so that's helping them out going forward, okay? Overall, not a bad month for them. Obviously, efficiency is a big thing. Growth is another thing, right? If you're not growing, you're basically dying in this space, unfortunately. And they definitely need to do that. The only good thing is that their efficiency has been improving here as they're maybe curtailing a little bit less towards the fall months and into the winter months as well. And that's going to help them out here, at least in the short term, okay? Plus, Bitcoin going up in value, that helps. So that's a good sign there, okay? So that's it for Sphere. Let me know what you guys think of them in the comments down below. Now let's take a look at BitDigital here. So BitDigital Inc. announces monthly production update for November 2023. They produced 142.7 Bitcoin for the month. It's an increase over, well, a 24% increase compared to prior months. So that's good. They got some miners installed here. They got to 2.25 exahash as of November. So that's a, what did they increase that by? By 300 petahash, I think, 300 or 400 I can't remember. We'll take a look at the numbers. Treasury holdings, BTC of 551.8. And what else do we have here? Okay, BitDigital's AI update. So BitDigital received a prepayment for the first month from its first customer for its BitDigital AI business. The company expects to earn between 35 million and 37 million of revenue from this contract during 2024. So that's obviously a good thing for them. It's going to be pretty much sustained revenue for them. It's not going to be as volatile, obviously, as Bitcoin here. So 35 million is obviously good. But first, you're going to have to spend on getting them AI machines, servers installed, all that stuff. So that's going to take away a lot from the first year's profits. And then the following year should be much better on that going forward. Okay, so that's it on that one. Let's take a look at the numbers that I do have for them. And we got BitDigital here. So currently they have 90.7 million shares outstanding. Stock price is at $3.32. Market cap is at 301 million right now. The performance over the last 12 weeks has been pretty good. You can see that on top. Current hash rate 2.25 exahash, future hash rate 2.5 as of right now. So they still have a little bit of growth left in them. Their BTC production here has been up and down throughout the year. As we tracked that, they kind of went down pretty low in October to 111. Now they're up to 142, which is good. They did state that they ended a contract with the hosting provider in October, which obviously was off. Which was why one of the reasons in September, I think, and in October was one of the reasons why that is lower, because they were moving miners over to another facility. And then obviously the nice improvement here in November. So that's good to see there. Bitcoin HODL at 551.8. That's valued at 22 million right now. Month over month difference, you can see that, how much they increased. BTC production, BTC HODL has also increased here in November to 551 from the 511 that they had in October. So that's good there. BTC per exahash efficiency at 63, so that's in line with some of the better miners here, so that's good there. How much they sold Bitcoin? Only 102 this time around, so that's good. They sold 421 in October. Hash rate growth has been growing. There were times where they were kind of flat for a couple months, but overall it has been growing, so that's good to see. Monthly Bitcoin revenue, nice increase here to 5.22 million in November compared to October of 3.3. And then you can see the monthly hash rate increased by about 250 petahash roughly for the month of November there. And they sold only 3.73 million in Bitcoin in November right now. Okay, looking down here, analyst ratings institutions did increase to 135, so that's good. Shares also increased to 34.9 million, which is also good. And then we have, let's see here, percentage increase as well to 38.5. We still have the same buy rating, 3 of those, and the price target went up to $5 from $4.50. Average went up to $4.47 from $4.13, and the low would stay the same, $3.90. So that's kind of what we got here. And then as far as the miners are concerned, here's what we installed. So we installed these two. I probably should combine these into one instead of having double here. But basically they installed, what is that? Approximately 2,255 machines of the 103 terahash miners in here to get us to the 2.25 that they stated they are at right now. And I had to add in there as well $560,000 in transaction fees for Bitcoin being added into it to get us to the 5.216 million in revenue for them. All right, which coincides here based on what they mined, average Bitcoin price for the month. That's where we are with them. Okay, so that all looks good. Going at my numbers here, looking backwards, right? The last 3 quarters, the current quarter that we're in right now, I have them between $2.31 to $3.47. They're currently at $3.32. I think they're fairly valid for right now. Now, given that Bitcoin could possibly go up even more, at that point, they're going to be generating more revenue. That should raise our numbers up here somewhat. And if we look into the future right now, based on November numbers for the revenue, we're looking somewhere between $2.30 and $3.45 based on the simple fact that we have 4 months before the halving event at 100%, 8 months after the halving event at 50%. That's kind of what we're looking at right now. So that's good there, right? Because the revenue has been increasing, which is good there. So overall, things are good, looking good there. They do have a pretty good balance sheet here as well. They got 66 million in cash as of Q3. They only had 2.24 million in debt and total current liabilities, so that was good there. So I have no worries with them getting into the halving event and lasting through it. Okay, let me know down below in the comments what you guys think of them. Let's get into the next one. So next one's going to be on Core Scientific. Core Scientific announces November 2023 production operations update. And here's what we have on them right here. There we go. Self-mining Bitcoin produced was 954. That is an increase, obviously, over October, which we'll take a look at. Self-mining energized hash rate is still at 15.2. I think I had them at 15 the prior month, but slight increase there nonetheless, but it's still good. Bitcoin sold was 1,011, so they actually sold more than they self-mined. So they also sold a portion for what they get in hosting, part of that. And let's see if there's anything else in your data center, self-mining, co-location, grid support. Nope, there's nothing else that's important here. You guys can read over that at your leisure. And like I said in yesterday's video, if you haven't had the chance yet, listen to the webcast from the CEO on their expectations for the emergence from Chapter 11 bankruptcy. I think it's definitely worth a listen especially if you're invested in them. Okay, so Core Scientific is over here. They have 386 million right now shares outstanding. We'll see how things play out when they do emerge, how many shares they're going to have at that point. Current market cap is at 266 million. You can see here that the performance of the last 12 weeks has been pretty bad here, right? It has improved this week, this week it has definitely jumped up because of the news yesterday on the emergence of bankruptcy and how that's going to work. That pumped the stock up, so I'm guessing this week should be pretty good for them as long as they stay where they are right now or a little bit above that. Current hash rate 15.2 exahash. They're pretty much fully installed. They do have a deal with Bitmain, like I've said before, excuse me, to add an additional 4.4, I believe, exahash in the future, which is going to be good. And let me take a sip of water because my throat's starting to get dry. Okay, so that's going to be nice once that gets approved, obviously. And then you can see here their BTC production has been coming down with the only exception of May. Obviously, May had a lot of those BTC transaction fees in there as well from the ordinals. That helped get obviously more BTC for that month. But other than that, it has been coming down throughout here, except for obviously now in November, where we have again had the transaction fees go up quite high here. So that's helped them out as well. They don't hodl anything. They sell everything they've been mining recently to stay in business. Let's see here. Efficiency for the month of November has been pretty good, actually 62.73, and that's mainly because also the improvement in transaction fees for Bitcoin. How much they've been selling, pretty much selling everything that they get. Hash rate, like I said before, they've reached 17 exahash in January of this year. They've come down. They have been coming back up, which is nice to see as well. Revenue, huge increase in revenue here to 34.88 million from the 26.9 million they got in October, so that's good there. Hash rate difference, how much they installed, month over month difference, BTC sold value. They sold obviously what they mined. So that's what we're getting there. Let's see what else we have here. Institutions did increase here a little bit here to 28 from 25 shares. That's 20.38 million compared to the 15.34 million. So that's good. That's an increase of 5.28 owned by institutions. We still have 3 hold ratings, 0 underperform, 0 sell. Price target still $1 up to 75 cents for the average and 50 cents for the low. And based on the numbers for November here, they were mining at approximately 30 days here. And I still had to add 2.64 million in transaction fees added to it to get us to the 35.3 million in revenue that they reported based on the number of Bitcoins they got. Okay, so that was obviously a good month for them. And we're looking at like possibly 94 million right now in revenue here for the final quarter Q4 compared to 83 million in Q3. So that's a nice improvement there. That should help them pay off some of the debts faster and things like that. So that's, with Bitcoin going up, it's definitely going to help them out. Okay, looking backwards here, I have them approximately $4.83 to $7.25, but given that they are in bankruptcy right now until they get out of it, I think they're valued where they are right now, mainly because they are in bankruptcy. So I'm not going to say that they're undervalued or overvalued. Once they get out of bankruptcy, then we'll reevaluate things. But if we look forward, we got them at $3.66 to $5.49 in the next 12 months, somewhere around there. But obviously, like I said before, Bitcoin goes up in value. This could obviously change as well, and we expect that to change with the miners. Okay, so overall, it'll be nice to see them grow. It'll be nice to see them get out of bankruptcy as well, and just see if they can continue to grow and pay down debt, get their finances in order and everything else, and see where they go from there. Okay, but let me know what you guys think of them down in the comments below. And let's take a look at the next one here. Next one's going to be on Digihost. Digihost provides November 2023 production updates. And to be honest with you guys, I'm actually thinking about possibly dropping Digihost and maybe even DMG. Let me know down in the comments if you guys think that's a good idea or not. Typically, the videos that I do on these guys don't get a lot of traction, don't get a lot of views, because there's some of the smaller miners that we track here, they're about 1 exahash to 2 exahash for DMG. We'll talk about that. They're going to be getting to 2 exahash. So definitely on the smaller side of things. And I just don't know how much, what's what I'm looking for? I'm drawing a blank. How much interest there is, how much interest there is, and knowing how these guys are performing. But we'll continue going forward through this year, and then we'll reevaluate next year maybe. Okay, so monthly production updates for November 23. They mined approximately 77 Bitcoins. And let's see here. They held cash of 2.1, which is with BTC and cash. So they don't provide the actual number that they have of Bitcoins. Let's see, what else do we have here? Operational update. Nothing else that I really want to talk about. You guys can read all the other stuff here. I'm not going to bore you with that. Let's take a look at Digihost. Digihost right now has 28.6, roughly 28.7 million shares outstanding. Stock price is $1.62. They're valued at 46.4 million right now as it is. They've had a pretty good run here in the last 12 weeks. Their current hash rate is about 1.095 exahash or 1095 petahash. And they are fully installed right now as it is. They hodl about 19.28. That's an estimate. I don't know. We haven't gotten a really good update recently, so I'm guessing they might have some more around there on that, plus cash. And then BTC production here in the last month for October, like I believe I stated that in production before them. And then I think they're also including part of what they get for electricity curtailment and possibly hosting for somebody else also. Because right now we're having 77 Bitcoin only in November, where we had 70 in August, and they were going up in September and October, while the hash rate was not increasing. So that just did not make sense for what they were reporting. And maybe they're back to reporting what they actually should be reporting, which is what they actually mine for self-mining. Okay. Month-over-month difference here. BTC hodl, you can see that. BTC per exahash efficiency. So they're still coming in at very efficient here as far as production is concerned. Most of the other miners are around 60, something like that. They've been above that. They should be closer to 60, between 60 and 65, somewhere around there. So this does not make sense to me on the number. So they might be including something in there as well, other than just self-mining. Might be that the Bitcoin network transaction fees are actually the ones that are benefiting them here the most. Okay, BTC sold what they sold. They sold based on, I'm guessing, 77 Bitcoins here, based on what they mined. Production or hash rate, you can see here, has been flat for a lot of the year here. From April to August was flat. And then September, we bumped them up a little bit here as well through November. Bitcoin mined revenue here has been increasing, which is good. And I'm actually, for the prior months, I think in October, we didn't have that much in transaction fees. So I actually put them down what they could have possibly mined for the month based on what they actually have installed as far as hash rates concerned. I didn't include it. If we look down below, I'll show you guys that based on what they reported, they should have had much more, but there's just no way that they could have done that for self-mining. So that's kind of what I'm looking at right now. BTC sold value, how much they sold. Last 4 quarters revenue, we talked about that previously here. Institutions went up to 31 from 30. Shares went up to 2.8 from 2.5 million. And percentage owned went up to 8.89 from, well, actually that went down. 8.89 from 8.95, so that went down. We still don't have any analyst ratings for them as is. And then you can see here in the numbers here. Let me see here. Do I have it in here? 85. So they reported 2.236 here in September. In September, I'm at only 1.95 based on running for the full month in September on what they have installed. That's kind of what I have. And then in October, they were 2.12. They stated 2.81 in that month. And then for this month, I have them actually at 2.814, which is what we're getting here with 30 months. And then I had to add 463,000 for the Bitcoin transaction fees in there as well. Okay, that's kind of what I'm guessing at is what's happening there. Yeah, the numbers that they do provide are wanky. I don't like them. But we get what we get here, and that's why my numbers here a lot of times are off on them. If you look at it here, I was off by 6.85%. I was off by 8.7%. I was down 2.35%. So can never really dial them in correctly with these guys. Okay, now, given that, so these numbers are a best guess estimate for them. They should be between $1.72 to $2.58. They're pretty close to being fairly valued right now at $1.62. And then looking forward, they're $1.53 to $2.30. And that's based on the 4 months before the halving event at 100%, and then the 50% for the 8 months afterwards. So they're kind of fairly valued based on that right now. If you look at the 162, that's above the 153. So I would say they're kind of fairly valued right now as it is. Big thing for them, obviously, is growth. Let's take a look at the balance sheet. The balance sheet isn't too bad. I mean, they only have 3.3 million in assets as of Q3, and then liabilities are 5.61. So not a good ratio there. We'll have to see how they grow. And their market cap is pretty good. They could dilute some more. They have plenty of shares they could dilute if they needed to grow a little bit more, but we'll just have to wait and see. Okay, so let me know what you guys think of that one. Let's battle on here with the next one here. And I need to take a sip of water again. All right, apologies on that. I think I might be coming down with the same thing that James from Invest Answers has. Some kind of flu or something that's starting to roll around here. Let me see here. DMG blockchain solution announces large Bitcoin mining server purchase and November mining results. So this is actually really good. I like seeing that they're buying pretty much double what, or it's going to double their hash rate from what they currently have, which is kind of nice to see here. So we'll take a look at that. So they announced it has signed an agreement with Bitmain Technologies to purchase 4,550 T21 190 terahash Bitcoin miners for approximately 12.1 million. And that comes out to be $14 per terahash. So that's pretty much the going price right now that we're seeing across the board. Financing of the purchase may be through existing cash, liquidated Bitcoin, debt, or a combination of both. Okay, so we don't know yet how that's going to be. I think they did state here someplace that they put down 10%. Here it is right there. Okay, so they've put that down. And delivery to the DMG's Christina Lake data center facility is subject to change given macro factors, including but not limited to shipping, logistics, and customs processing. So we'll see here how that's going to play out. And then here's our update. Okay, 64.7 Bitcoin with 0.97 exahash realized hash rate. That's kind of where they were. The company is working to improve the operation of its fleet so that its realized hash rate is closer to the fleet nameplate hash rate of 1.2 exahash in the coming months, right? So this is what they have actually installed. This is kind of where they're operating right now. So I have it at 1.2 exahash as it is right now for them. So nonetheless, this is a good thing that they are growing into the halving event. And they do have a pretty good fleet here, as we can see here for DMG, which we'll take a look at here shortly. But let's take a look at it right now. Their fleet is mostly the 100 terahash miners, 140 terahash, the 123, and now the 190. So based on all these numbers, they look to be like about 23.9 joules per terahash once everything gets installed. So definitely an efficient fleet as it is. Okay. So they currently have 167 million shares outstanding. Stock price is at, is it 34 cents only? That's kind of hard to believe. Is it 34 cents? I'll have to take a look. Might be because they have a lot of shares out, so that can make sense. DMG, yep, 34 cents. Okay. I was a little taken back by that. So the market cap is at 57 million, so that's obviously better than DMG or Digihost on it. And the performance has been better also in the last 12 weeks. You can take a look at those numbers there. They currently have 1.2 exahash like we talked about. The future hash is going to be 2.1 roughly with the purchase that they're doing right now. That'll be good. Their BTC production has been increasing as well, which is good to see. They do have 429 Bitcoin in HODL right now. It's valued at about 17 million. So that's good. You can see the month-over-month difference as far as what their production is for BTC. BTC HODL has been coming down here from the high that they had in May with 570, which is okay. They've been selling a little bit more than probably what they're mining here. But they are actually growing, so I'm okay with that. BTC per exahash efficiency right there at 53.88, and that's based on they have 1.2, but they're only operating at 9.7. And then going down here, you can see that they're pretty flat here throughout the year. So December of last year through August of this year, they were at 9.1 or 917 petahash. Then they got up to 1.2 with the nameplate numbers, so that's kind of what we're using there for them. And the revenue here on the side of things bottomed out in August, and they have been increasing ever since then, which is nice to see. But that's mainly because Bitcoin price going up, plus the transaction fees on the Bitcoin network there. Hash rate difference month over month. BTC sold value, you can see that as well. And then going down here to institution side of things, stayed the same, it looks like, for them. The only thing that kind of changed here was the high increase to 74 cents from 73 cents. And the average 48 cents stayed the same. Low stayed the same at 23. The miners here, as far as what they were operating for the month of November, they were operating for approximately 27.53 days. And that does not include any additional transaction fees added into it. So they were probably operating for less than that, I'm guessing, based on what they have. Or at least they haven't been operating at full capacity of what they should be. So they're operating at like 80% of where they should be, really. Okay. So that's that one. Going back up here. I have them right now between 32 cents to 49 cents. And this is based on the last 3 quarters, the current quarter that we're in. We could possibly bump them up to maybe a little bit higher PE ratio since they are growing a little bit. But, you know, even at that, they're pretty close to being fairly valued right now at 34 cents. If we look forward to the next 12 months, we got them between 22 cents and 33 cents. So, like, again, based on the 4 months before the halving event with 100%, and then the 8 months after the halving event at 50%. they do look pretty fairly valued based on what they have right now. But like I said, that could change with Bitcoin price going up in value and everything else. Okay, so good to see that they're growing. Like to see them grow even more past that. And then we may do a cutoff line somewhere around maybe 5 exahash is where we're going to see any miner that's below that. We're going to track them. Any miner that's above that, we'll track. I'll see. All right, so that's it for that one. Let me know what you guys think. And finally, we got Marathon here. So Marathon Digital Holdings announces Bitcoin production and mining operation updates for November 2023. They put in a lot of information here recently, which is kind of nice, but it's kind of maybe a little bit too much. So here's what we do have. In November, we increased our domestic energized hash rate 20% to 23.1 exahash as energization of the facility in Garden City, Texas is completed, so that's good. They've been waiting on that for a couple months there. That finally got increased, so definitely the top miner here with 23.1. Let's see here. You can read all the stuff down here. It's talking about their joint venture in Paraguay, another facility in or also Abu Dhabi, so you can read that. They produced 1,187 Bitcoin in November. That's down 1% from October against a 9% sequential increase in network difficulty. We'll take a look at those numbers as well. What else do we have here? Okay. So this, I wish I would have provided actual tables instead of a picture of this. I can't highlight the stuff here. So they produced 1,151. Is that what we have here? Let's see, 1,187. Okay. So I may have my numbers here a little mixed up. I think they're including other Bitcoin that they have mined here because they're saying Bitcoin produced here 1,151. And what do we have here? 10/31, 2023, 11/20. Yeah, okay. 1,151. So I may have that number mixed up. We'll get that straightened out later on. In November, let's see what else we have here. There was something else I wanted to talk about. Okay, as of November 30th, the company holds a total of 14,025 unrestricted Bitcoins. So that's good there. Huge HODL position as well. And I think that's it. Okay, so let's see if I have my numbers here for them correct at 1,151 Bitcoin produced. And what do we have here for them? Marathon is right there. 1,151. Nope, you got to change that. Okay, so let's fix that. You guys will get to witness the process of fixing numbers. So they had that one. So we have to go over here, which is going to be on the miners comp. 1,151. Marathon 1,151. 1,151. Okay, got that updated. Go back over here, and that makes them generate 42 million now. Go back over here to September, October, November, and they are at 42. What was that? 42 million 77. So basically 42 million. We can leave that at that. 42 million. So we had to add. They actually, well, depending when they got energized here, it looks like we'll have to do some numbers on this, but I'll do the numbers on this later on, get this updated. I'm not going to bore you guys with it. But yeah, it's 42 million, but they did install obviously these miners here to get them to the 23.2 roughly exahash that they reported. And they were running for about 27 days here. So they did have still quite a bit of curtailment on there. And this is going to probably come down even more. They'd have to bring them down to the 42 million and 77,000 on it. So that will definitely bring down their numbers here. So their efficiency will get affected on this as well. So keep that in mind when looking at the numbers up here. I do apologize for that mistake, but this is why we do things. We catch them, and then hopefully you guys can also catch some of the mistakes I make as well. Like I said before, I'm just one guy doing this in my spare time, so I can make mistakes. Try to catch them. When we do catch them, we'll fix them. And if you guys catch anything, definitely let me know. I do appreciate it. Okay. So shares outstanding right now is 222 million, sorry. Stock price is $15.28. Market cap is at 3.4 billion. Nicely done right now. Let's see here. Performance-wise, over the last 12 weeks has been really good here. Current hash rate 23.2. Future hash rate 24.6. You could say 24, something like that. They are possibly going to be buying more miners anyways. So we'll find out about that. And let's see here. What do we got here? BTC production, like I said, has been coming down. It does look like they curtailed quite a bit. Or they at least had the miners energized later on in the month where instead of having for 20 days, they could be operating only for like 5 days. Okay, so that all really depends on that number. Bitcoin HODL is 14,025. Oh, excuse me, I had to burp. And that's valued at 561 million right now. So definitely a huge HODL position there. Month-over-month difference, you can see production. They were down 33 on the month. So that leads me to believe, or leads me to think at least, that the miners that came online this month in November were probably plugged in towards the end of the month. They didn't operate for very long because otherwise they should have had it, they should have been way above that number right there. BTC HODL, you can see that that has been increasing here over the months here, so that's good. BTC per exahash efficiency way down 49. That might come down even more until I get the number down to the 42 million. I'm guessing probably around 44, maybe 45 is where we'll end up at. On the efficiency side of things, revenue, hash rate, right, continual increase here, which is nice to see as well. And then we've had just a couple months where we stagnated a little bit here, a little bit bump in October, and a nice bump here again in November, which is nice to see. And then the revenue has been increasing nicely as well, now to 42 million. So that's the best month that they've had here all year, which is nice to see. Hash rate difference, we installed basically about 4 exahash here. And then BTC sold value, how much they've been selling each month. And then going down here to the institutions. Institutions did increase by a little bit here to 339. The shares also increased to 85.5 million. That's now 38.5% of the company owned by institutions. Things changed a little bit here as far as what we have listed. So we still have 1 strong buy rating, 2 buy ratings. We now have 6 hold ratings instead of 5. And we have 1 underperform rating for them and a price target of $12.50. Average $9.79 and a low of $7. They're obviously above that right now. We'll talk about that. I still think that they are undervalued. We talked about the numbers here a little bit for the numbers for the miners. Like I said, I'll get this updated to make sense. 42. I may put that at 5. Let's see how that changes. 42. That gets us a little bit closer to those numbers. 49. Let's do 7 on this one as well. Let's see what that gets us. Okay, let's do 10. And this is kind of what I do. I just kind of go through the numbers until they all add up to what I wanted to add up at. Let's do 15, 15. Okay, that gets us a lot closer here. Let's do 16 on that one. 42.021, they reported 42.077. Okay, fair enough. We're close there. And then you can see how that affects the hash rate. No, that shouldn't affect it, right? Because the hash rate is the hash rate, and what they mined is what they mined, so that doesn't affect it. I thought it affected it, but it doesn't. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, going up here. So I have in between $15.71 to $23.57. They're currently undervalued. And this is not a shocker, I think, to anybody that's been investing in them. They should be valued much higher. And then if we look forward, the next 12 months, it should be between $15.10. And I believe I'm using the latest numbers for them as well for November. I am. So between $15.10 to $22.65. Like I said, they're undervalued right now. They should be much valued higher. And then obviously Bitcoin going up higher, they could definitely get to, much, much, much higher than where they are right now. So definitely nice job by them. This year has been fantastic for them. I've said it on posts, comments, that they are obviously one of the top 5 miners that I don't own them personally and any shares of them. But based on how they operate and everything else, they're definitely one of the top 5 miners here, along with Riot, CleanSpark, probably Bitfarms, and I'll maybe including their Iris Energy as well, maybe. But those kind of would be the top 5 that I'd be looking into. So definitely a nice job by them this year. Last year I did bash them because the performance was just horrific last year. But they turned things around in the 3rd quarter, 4th quarter of last year. So and things have gotten definitely much better. You can see it here in the numbers. November, they were at 7,000 or 7 exahash. Prior to that, they were only like at 700 petahash. So a huge turnaround towards the second half of the year for them in this last year, and obviously into this year. So fantastic job there by them. Okay, so that's it for those numbers. Let me know what you guys think of these guys. Obviously, them expanding to other regions, doing joint ventures is a good thing also because it does, provide a little bit more assurance that things may not go so bad if painting gets mined here in the United States, which I don't think is going to happen anytime soon, but at least it makes them a little bit more diversified worldwide, which is good. All right, so like I said, otherwise everything's good here for them. They need to grow. Obviously, Riot just drew the stake in the ground as far as where they're looking to grow. Now we'll see where Marathon's going to go forward, right? So that'll be interesting to see as well. Okay, now as far as institutions, so we're going to talk about that a little bit here as well, so we might as well do that. This will be quick here. So on this table here, I pulled in all of the numbers here, and I think I have a mistake here someplace on one of these 2 here. I think I did what was it, on Sphere, oh, not Sphere. It was either Digihost or DMG. If I look at it down here, 8.9%. No, that's correct. So by the DMG. Let's see here. I thought I saw a mistake also that I had. Those are all good. What was the other one that we did? Was it core? Nope, those are all looking good. Any, I think is the any one that we did that. Might have had a mistake in here. Let me see here. 1%. Yep, I did 125.69. So it should be 125.690. There we go. So I knew I had a mistake here someplace. I caught it. We fixed it. Let's take a look at the institution side of things. So on here, I just wanted to see how institutions have changed over the last 6 months. So basically from around the middle of June sometime to now, I wanted to see where institutions were buying into and how much the stocks have gone up or down since then. So our institution's doing a pretty good job finding those good performers going forward. And here's what we have here. So institutional ownership change over the 6 months. So BitDigital, the change in institutions increased by 20%. CleanSpark went up 14.8. Then you got BitDeer at 12, TeraWolf at 8, Bitfarms at 7, Hut at 6, Iris Energy at 5, almost 6 there, Marathon 5.6, Cypher 2.65, Mawson 1.8, Hive 1.4, Argo 0.69, Digihost 0.65, Core 0.29, Sphere 0.28, and then DMG only 0.09, and Riot was actually down on the institution side of things, which is kind of surprising that institutions would be selling out of those guys, specifically Riot in general. And then you can see here the price from 24 weeks ago, which is basically 6 months ago, latest price that we have on them, difference on it, and what the difference is on that. You can see here that we'll take a look at down here. So we have the institutions number that's changed for them and how much stock has gone up or down over the lows from 6 months ago to now. You can see here on Digital, it's only up 7.1%. So that one, even though that one got the most change in institutions, it didn't do as well as some of the other stocks did here over the last 6 months at least. CleanSpark was up 139% from 6 months ago. BitDeer was actually down 24, right? They plowed 12 point, the change in institutions changed by 12.34, so a lot more institutions were getting into that one. Same thing with TeraWolf, came in kind of flat here with 8% institutions and 8% only growth here in the last 6 months. Bitfarms 7.4, so definitely a good move there by institutions. They got 65% there. Hut 8, 6.58%. They actually lost on that one, but down 78.39, and I think I got that one also converted over with the reverse share split on that one for 5. So I believe that's calculated based on that. And then Iris Energy, they plowed in 5, almost 6%. They got 55%. Marathon 5, and they got 57% as well for that one. Cypher, not too bad, 11% up with only 2.65 change in the institution side of things. One that was down here, Mawson, 1.81, down 49%. And then some of these guys over here, like Core Scientific, right? Who could have foreseen Core Scientific doing really well in the last 6 months, being in bankruptcy? So obviously, I can see the reason why institutions didn't get into that one. And that one obviously increased 86% here from that time frame. What's another one here that we have here? DMG, I mean, it's up 69%. Sphere, this was as of, it's still down 17% from where it was 6 months ago, basically. So that's a good move there. Riot, obviously, is up 47%, so that was a bad move by institutions on that one. So just kind of interesting to take a look at how things have played out for them, where things are. And then you can also see here, you guys can take a screenshot of it, whatever you want. But you can see how the price targets have changed and how the buy ratings have changed here. So this is looking back 6 months ago and comparing it to now. And then you'll see, like for BitDigital, they got 2 extra buy ratings. CleanSpark got 1 extra strong buy rating, 1 extra buy rating. Price targets actually increased for them here on the high end. BitDeer also got a $9.20 or $9.20 increase on it. You can see down the list here how things have changed. Mawson actually went down $9. Marathon went down $7.50. They probably should have kept the prior estimates that they had. They would have been a little bit better price right now, or at least within range where I think Marathon is fairly valued right now. What else do we have here? It's kind of interesting to take a look at. Well, you guys can take a look at it, but I thought this was kind of interesting. Let me know what you guys thought of this. Just a quick blurb on all this stuff here. And then here's the shares change for the 6 months ago. From 6 months ago, and you can see here that the company that got the most shares added would be Bitfarms, 38 million shares, followed by CleanSpark with 35, then Marathon at 29. And that kind of coincides with the percentage gains that we've seen here recently here. Bitfarms up 65, CleanSpark up 139, Marathon up 57 from 6 months ago. And then Iris Energy was way down here, but definitely worth it. Okay, so that's it. Let me know what you guys think of all this stuff. Obviously, we'll take a look at what's going on tomorrow. We still have some miners that need to report, and those miners include BitDeer, Hive, Hut 8, Iris as well, Mawson, Riot, and then Stronghold has still not reported their October numbers. So they're going to begin put in my doghouse here pretty soon again, and I'll probably never cover them again because they stopped reporting their production updates last year, and they started again this year. It seems like they start reporting those when they want to pump their stock up or something like that, and they stop afterwards. So I'm getting a little annoyed by that if they don't provide those October numbers and November numbers here relatively quickly. Because if they don't provide the November numbers, they're out. They're in the doghouse. They're not coming back in. Okay, so we'll deal with that come down the road here. But yes, we still have a couple miners that need to provide that information, and we'll have the monthly updates, and we'll obviously do the comparison on the miners for the monthly. Tomorrow, like I said, if it's going to be a slow day, we'll do the miners comparison for the quarterly results for Q3. So we do a bunch of metrics on that. I'm not going to show you the screenshots of that yet because I'm still working on those, getting the numbers inputted and everything else. And then we'll do the metrics that are going to be normal metrics and then weighted metrics based on the things that I think are important more so than other things. And then you guys can disagree with that as well. But that's it. So thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed it. It's a long one, I know. A lot of data coming out. And I want to get it to you guys as fast as I can. That's why I speak so fast, because I don't want to waste your guys' time. So again, thank you so much. I hope you guys did enjoy it. Hope you guys learned something, took something useful from this. And we'll see what happens. Spreadsheets are always going to be available to Patreon members. Those will be uploaded here shortly. And that's still $5 a month for everybody to join there. And we do have a great Discord private channel for everybody to talk about all the miners, the Bitcoin miners, the Bitcoin itself, MicroStrategy, and just other general trading topics in there. So that's always fun there. And yeah, that's it. I'm going to ramble on otherwise. So again, thank you. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Hope you have a wonderful evening. Bye.